It's a great pleasure and honor to have you, Professor Marco, with us today. You've been a father of this meeting since its inception, so please, the best talk of the day would be the educational passion of Dr. Jean-Marco, and please stay in the room for an important event even after his talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim, for this nice introduction. Dear course director, dear friend, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share with all the participants of GULFPCR-GIM 2015 some key elements on the transformative learning, a journey for each of us. Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleague, the agenda of my talk will be the following one. First, I will raise some questions and stimulate you for a self-reflection in order to underline a disorienting dilemma. Then we will look on the transformative learning by changing our frames or reference. And then we will look on the transformative learning in practice, a journey for each of us, the role of educators, the role of learners, and the key role of professional development. So the first part, a self-reflection. I invite you to participate to this self-reflection. I will present to you some paradigm or comments, and I invite you to raise your arm and to express your point of view. First, the diffusion of information. We mean that by using this kind of device some of you are using during the session, maybe you can close it, including the web, including journals, courses, congresses, industry-driven communication, industry-driven meeting or session, create a confusion, cognitive conflict, sometimes disorienting dilemma, and new needs in the learning process. I agree. Raise your arm. I just partially agree. Raise your arm. I totally disagree. No opinion? Okay. In postgraduate learning, the faculty defines what a learner needs to hear, see, learn, and all this should be done. Is this paradigm still available today? Yes. Raise your arm. No. No opinion? Okay. In a specific field, an uncritically assimilated explanation by an authority figure is sufficient for me. I totally disagree. Sometimes I agree. There is some message beyond this self-evaluation. As a personal, as an individual, I have some personal perspectives that drive me for a new level of proficiency. This is my personal perspective. For example, what are the important problems I am facing in my daily practice or in my life in a specific field? I'll give you one practical example. My problem is the quality of my English when I deliver a talk. Where I am in this field, I'm on this level of proficiency. And according to a self-perception of my current level of proficiency, I believe I'm there. So now, toward which point I will wish to be guided to reach a new level of proficiency. This one or this one. This is this is your personal point of view. You decide. And there is an awareness. There is a gap between the 2 points. And in order to reach my expectation, my perspective, I need to choose or to select a learning process. This is my choice. It's a self-oriented learning process. There is some message I wish to share with you. The postgraduate learning can only be facilitated. We cannot teach another person directly. Postgraduate learning is an active process that is associated with human interactivity and not machines, and is most likely to occur when it's self-initiated. In the current environment, we must learn to make our own interpretations rather than act on the purpose, the judgment of others. This is my first part of the message. Moving now to the second part, transformative learning by changing our frame of references, by critically reflecting on our assumptions and beliefs, and making and implementing plans that bring about new ways of learning. This is a transformative learning. Transformative learning is a process. The process integrates examining, questioning, revising. All learners construct, validate, reformulate the meaning of their knowledge and experience. This is the first important key point. And all learners develop expectations, personal expectations, based on their reflection. This is a key point of transformative learning. The goal is to create a community of learners. We have to change our frame of reference. A community of learners where each other are learning for each other. It's not simple, and this requires respective role. Respective role. First, the educator role. To set objectives that include autonomous thinking and not repeat. Autonomous thinking is possible. To scaffold, to guide the learner to become more critical in assessing assumption, belief, judgment. To effectively participate in a discourse by assessing assumption, belief, evidence. To collaborate with peers. We mean that now we are not speaking about a learner, we are speaking about peers. You are peers. To construct knowledge about themselves. To establish an environment that builds trust and facilitates the development of relationship among peers. This is key, the environment. To encourage dialogue In dialogue, we mean to encourage people to participate, to assessing the judgment, to assessing the assumption, and to guide peers and not students, not learners. You have experience. To arrive at a collaborative judgment. Collaborative judgment, self-initiated are key word. But you, if we consider you, all of us, I am learning from you. If we consider all of us as a learner, we have a role. The first role is to construct learning about themselves. This is the role of the learner. And try to move to the concept of self-initiated learning. To critically reflect. And we need to learn how to critically reflect on assumption, on judgment that underlie reference and belief. This includes, of course, to learn how to analyze, how to evaluate the value of evidence, for example, or references. To critically examine arguments and alternate point of view. That's part of the learner role. The learner role involves objective reframing of the frame of reference where they critically reflect on the assumption of others. And in opposite, subjective reframing when learners critically assess their own assumption. The learner roles are to validate what and why is being communicated to them. It's not just to repeat, but to validate, to self-appropriate what is communicated to them. To effectively participate in a collaborative judgment on the essential. What is not essential, we can forget it. What is interesting to raise a question or to raise comment is important, but what is essential, we need together to validate this judgment. Of course, this is not easy, and this requires a role of professional development. The learner have to move in this direction, but this is a part of the responsibility of the educators. The role of professional development is to scaffold, to guide the educators in gaining awareness on the habit of mind regarding teaching and the responsibility in this evaluation of habit of mind. In examining critically the assumption that underline their practices in teaching, and in developing alternative perspectives, new way of teaching. This is the role of professional development. This professional development requires strategy, a strategic vision. The strategic vision includes action plans, reflective activities, case study, curriculum development, and critical theory and discussion. Curriculum development in the role of professional development is key. Curriculum development creates the opportunity to connect theory and practice in teaching. In addition to introducing new teaching technique, the curriculum gives the opportunity to educators to test, to assess, to evaluate this new way of teaching and to compare with the practice of previous technique of teaching, and continuous improvement is a lifelong self-oriented learning. This is key for the future, I strongly believe. My conclusion is the following one. The transformative learning has been developed, implemented by Jack Melizoff. All learning is change, but not all change is transformative. And for the future, we need to work. If some of you are interested, because of the slide will be on the website, if some of you are interested, I invite you. It's very easy to click on this. You will have the reference on the slide. And have a dream for the new generation of leader, for the new leader. It's not very expensive, but I invite you to take a subscription to this small journal. It's only £75 a year. It's not expensive. And you will follow the evolution, the world evolution of the transformative learning. Thank you very much for your attention.